Living now? Where are you living? Where do you live?
Yes.
Because I'm the police officer who's taking care of you right now. That's why.
Taking care of me.
Yeah.
You're really abusing.
You do recognize him, right? That's the actor.
I was wondering when I saw
From
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense, Pay It Forward.
Oh, yeah.
That's the kid.
37-year-old Haley Joel Osment, the child actor who famously starred in the horror film The Sixth Sense, was arrested on the afternoon of Tuesday, April 8th in Mammoth Lakes, California. Police responded to a call about an intoxicated person at the Mammoth Mountain Resort at around 2:00 p.m. and encountered Osment, who was in possession of a suspected controlled substance.
Okay, well, you're under arrest now for public intox. Can you stand up, please? Stand up. Stand up.
The substance was sent to a lab for testing and Osment was booked on possession and public intoxication charges. He flashed a wide grin for his booking photo, despite being in a situation that most people find upsetting, and was released shortly thereafter. Osment is reportedly experiencing a string of misfortune after losing everything in the Altadena wildfire in January. This is also not his first time being arrested. Nearly a decade ago, he was sentenced to 3 years of probation for overturning his car while driving under the influence. The Mono County District Attorney is now tasked with deciding whether to move forward with a case against the former child star. Number 14. Oswaldo Perez Sanchez. A Las Vegas man who was on the run following his girlfriend's death 2 years ago is now accused of murdering a woman in Mexico. The fugitive, 28-year-old Oswaldo Nathaniel Perez Sanchez, was already wanted for fatally shooting 26-year-old Tabitha Totsi during an argument in April 2023 and fleeing immediately afterward. As the manhunt entered its second year, the FBI joined the search. On April 7, 2025, Mexico's Unidad Especializada en Aprehensiones, or Specialized Arrest Unit, apprehended the wanted suspect in Villa Fontana, Culiacan, for the death of another woman named Vivian Caroli. Perez Sanchez faces femicide and forced disappearance charges in that case, and is currently detained in Mexico pending his extradition to the United States. According to news reports, he was living under the alias Jorge N. during his time in Mexico, but authorities have released few other details about his life on the run. In the meantime, Totsi's mother has expressed gratitude and relief over Perez Sanchez's capture and sadness. Number 13. Jaden Jarneski Magana and Chris Ryan Sato Carino in a disturbing act of animal cruelty that was captured on video and broadcasted on social media. 19-year-old Jaden Jarneski Magana and 20-year-old Chris Ryan Sato Carino stole a pig from a farm on the Hawaiian island of Maui and tortured the animal to death in May of 2024. One of the young men has been convicted and they're both facing a stiff prison sentence of up to 10 years. In what media reports have described as a sham hunting video, the pair filmed their dogs viciously attacking the pig named Eddie, who belonged to a woman named Sarah Haynes. They then gutted the animal and entered his remains in a biggest pig hunting contest, only to pique the suspicions of judges who noticed that Eddie had been neutered and appeared much heavier than a typical wild pig. Jarneski Magana and Sato Carino nevertheless won the $1,000 prize but were arrested several months later following an investigation. One of the two defendants has already pleaded no contest of first-degree animal cruelty and livestock theft, and the other is expected to change his plea to no contest to the charges, each of which carries a maximum 5-year prison sentence. Number 12. Frank Liu. A teenager is dead and a U.S. Marine is facing a murder charge due to a love triangle gone wrong. In Long Island, New York, Neo Sakira left his job to pick up his 19-year-old girlfriend in Bayside, Queens on the evening of Saturday, April 12th, and was shot by the woman's ex-boyfriend, 28-year-old Frank Liu, right in front of her eyes. Both men lost their lives during the ill-fated encounter. Police arrived at the scene around 10:00 p.m. and found Sakira with gunshot wounds to the chest, while Liu succumbed to a bullet wound to the head. They were both pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. The victim's mother, Yolanda Sakira, told reporters that she was informed of her son's death by Liu's mother. According to the shooter's father, Huli, Liu was heartbroken over his breakup with Sakira's girlfriend and the loss of his military friends who were killed while serving overseas. Number 11. Akinyela Sawa Taylor. A knife-wielding American citizen was fatally shot in the chest after trying to hijack a plane in Belize on Thursday, April 17th. According to reports, 49-year-old Akinyela Sawa Taylor began attacking fellow passengers on a San Pedro-bound Tropic Air flight at around 8:30 in the morning. He cut several of the 14 travelers before one of them opened fire on him, killing him inside the aircraft. In the meantime, the pilot circled the aircraft above the airport while growing increasingly concerned over its diminishing fuel supply. The flight finally landed at 10:12 a.m., nearly 2 hours after the ordeal began. As soon as the plane touched down, emergency personnel rushed to transport the injured passengers to the hospital. The passenger who shot Taylor is being praised as a hero, although authorities have not revealed how the knife or gun involved in the incident got onto the plane. Additionally, it remains a mystery how Taylor ended up getting into Belize after initially being denied entry into the country. Number 10. James Bernard Johnson. 43-year-old James Bernard Johnson has been convicted of murdering a woman who snubbed his cat call during the early morning hours on a Polk County, Iowa street. The incident occurred on July 27th, when 42-year-old bartender Nikki Lofredo responded to Johnson's suggestion that they go get high together by saying, "Who are you?" and telling him to F off. After spotting Lofredo on a quiet residential sidewalk, catcalling her from inside his SUV and being rejected, Johnson pulled a handgun, shot at the woman 4 times and sped away from the scene. Lofredo died from her injuries 2 days later. Johnson later claimed he felt disrespected by the victim and that he just meant to scare her. According to prosecutors, the two had no prior connections and Johnson had used cocaine and marijuana prior to the shooting. He also admitted to popping someone in text messages to his girlfriend. After deliberating for a handful of hours following the trial in April 2025, the jury found Johnson guilty of first-degree murder. He's currently awaiting sentencing, which is scheduled for June 20th. Number 9. A serial killer in New England. Residents in coastal New England are growing increasingly fearful about the prospect of a serial killer amid the recent discoveries of human remains in places like Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. The findings have been widely discussed on social media platforms like TikTok and X, giving rise to concerns that one person is responsible for multiple deaths. 3 sets of remains have been identified, including 59-year-old mother of 2 Denise Leary, 35-year-old Paige Fannin, and 56-year-old Michelle Romano. Authorities have yet to reveal the women's causes of death, but have said that there's no reason to currently believe that there's an existing threat to the public. A 4th set of adult female remains, which were found near a naval base in Groton, Connecticut, remain unidentified, along with a 5th body which was located in Framingham, Massachusetts. In early April, the discoveries have triggered speculation by a popular podcaster, Jane Borowski, who survived the murder attempt of a previous serial killer in the area, but law enforcement remains reluctant to feed into this theory and the investigation is ongoing. Number 8. Morgan Geezer. In the latest update on a case we've covered on this channel before, a young woman who was remanded to inpatient psychiatric care for the attempted murder of her best friend has officially been granted release by the judge overseeing her case. 22-year-old Morgan Geyser, known for the infamous Slender Man stabbing of schoolmate Peyton Leutner, was found not guilty of attempted homicide in 2017 due to her mental illness. She was granted conditional release by a Waukesha County judge in January, but the prosecution and other state officials moved to prevent the release from happening due to lingering concerns regarding whether Geezer is a threat to the community and if she's in need of continued inpatient care. The state argued that there are red flags surrounding Geezer's behavior, but a last-minute petition to keep her institutionalized was rejected, which means that she will soon walk free. The decision comes despite the prosecution's argument that Geezer is in a relationship with a man who has a murder memorabilia collection and the fact that her original sentence consisted of 40 years in a mental institution. Only time will tell whether or not she's truly fit to re-enter society. Number 7. Upstate New York plane crash. 6 people lost their lives in an upstate New York plane crash on Saturday, April 12th, while en route to celebrate a birthday and the Passover holiday. The small aircraft was en route to an airport in Hudson when it plunged into a muddy field, killing prominent neurologist Dr. Joy Sinai and her husband, neuroscientist Dr. Michael Groff. Also included among the victims were the couple's MIT graduate daughter, Karina, her boyfriend, James Santoro, Groff and Sinai's son, Jared Groff, and his partner, Alexia Coyutas Duarte. The couple's 3rd child, daughter Anika, was not on the plane and is the sole surviving member of her family. While the cause of the crash remains under investigation, news reports reveal that the pilot alerted air traffic control that they had missed their approach. He was awaiting instruction for making a second approach when the tower received a low altitude alert. All contact with the plane was lost and the accident occurred moments later. Number 6. Gage Ketterman. A West Virginia high school athlete is facing felony charges for repeated fouls during a basketball game, including elbowing an opposing player in the face and breaking his nose. The alleged culprit, 18-year-old Gage Ketterman, was arrested this month, despite the incident occurring in late February. He was taken into custody based on the findings of an investigation by the West Virginia State Police. According to the complainant, who was identified as the victim's mother, the victim's nose bled profusely for more than 4 hours after the game, prompting his parents to take him to a nearby hospital. Police reviewed footage from the game and concluded that it corroborated with the woman's claims. In the clip, Ketterman can reportedly be seen elbowing the victim directly in the face and then wiping something off of his arm. Based on the video, investigators concluded that Ketterman acted in an intentional and criminally malicious manner. He's facing 1 count of malicious assault and 2 counts of attempted malicious assault, and is currently free after posting a $12,500 bond. Number 5. Marshall Garrett. A Texas woman is dead, and her neighbor is facing criminal charges after his 3 pit bulls mauled her to death. 65-year-old Harriet Phillips tried desperately to fight the dogs off with a hammer during the March 23rd attack, which occurred after neighbors told the canine's owner, 38-year-old Marshall Garrett, that the dogs were digging on the victim's property. According to community members, the dogs frequently escaped and were known for being aggressive. All 3 of the dogs were euthanized following the attack, and Garrett is facing 3 felony counts of attack by dog resulting in death. The charges against Garrett came 1 day after he was charged in an unrelated murder stemming from an incident that occurred in October 2024. In that case, Garrett and a female suspect named Latricia Washington are accused of killing 69-year-old Alton Martin outside a Houston Family Dollar store. Court documents list Martin's cause of death as blunt force trauma, and Garrett was in police custody as of the most recent media updates on the matter. Number 4. Wild golf brawl. A fight between Canadian golfers recently spiraled out of control at 2 Eagles golf course in Kelowna, British Columbia. Footage recently appeared on Reddit shows 2 groups arguing over the place of their playing, and what began as a verbal altercation quickly escalated into a shoving match and worse. One of the groups apparently thought the other was in an unnecessary rush, with one man in a white shirt shouting, "It's Monday night golf. You in a rush? Where you gotta be?" He and another man began swinging at one another, and soon enough, the man in the white shirt was taken to the ground. He lost his shirt in the brawl, and the fighting continued while onlookers tried to break the 2 up. The physical fighting stopped after about 1.5 minutes, but the parties continued shouting at one another until the video ended. A police spokesperson confirmed that the parties involved in the fight have been identified and that the incident is currently under investigation. Number 3. Eddie Shedd. A heroic church deacon lost his life while protecting parishioners from gunfire during an Easter egg hunt in Gulfport, Mississippi, on the afternoon of Saturday, April 12th. Eddie Shedd was helping to host the event with Empowerment Ministries Christian Center when a man later identified by police as 24-year-old Tyran Dion Gable began shooting during a custody-related argument with the mother of his child. 39-year-old Shedd immediately shielded 2 people who were trying to de-escalate the dispute, saving them from an otherwise near-certain death and taking the bullet himself. Church members later told the press that it was in his nature to do things like this and to put others first. Gable was reportedly detained following the shooting and is facing a first-degree murder charge. Number 2. Isaac Isaiah Villalba. A California teenager is facing criminal charges following a high-speed crash that caused 1 man to death and injured 6 other victims. The rogue driver, identified by law enforcement as 19-year-old Isaac Isaiah Villalba, crashed his Dodge Challenger into several other vehicles in Riverside shortly before 6:30 p.m. According to police, he was under the influence of drugs and driving at high speeds at the time of the collision. He rammed into a Honda Civic, killing 37-year-old Christian Balagan and causing a multiple car pileup which left some of the other victims hospitalized. Villalba reportedly attempted to flee on foot after the accident but was swiftly apprehended by police. He's facing possible charges of murder, felony hit and run, resisting arrest with violence, and being under the influence of drugs and causing injury or death. Police say that there's evidence on social media of people witnessing the crash, but those individuals have yet to come forward and share their account of events. Number 1. Florida State University shooting. Shortly before noon on Thursday, April 17th, a gunman opened fire on students and staff at Florida State University in Gainesville. The suspect, later identified as 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner, the stepson of a Leon County sheriff's deputy, killed 2 people and injured 6 others during his campaign of terror. As he walked the campus firing seemingly indiscriminately at his victims, terrified students and employees took cover, blocking doorways and keeping elevator doors open so the lifts would remain stuck in place. Eichner was arrested at the scene with his stepmother's former service weapon in his possession. He was enrolled at the university for spring classes after transferring from another college, but his future will most likely now involve a lifetime of prison. His reasons for committing the act of mass violence remain unclear and the investigation is ongoing.